Norway is a racist country. We woke up this morning to the UN experts report, deeply concerned about racial discrimination against people of African descent. Following the recent fact-finding visit, and I'm quoting the experts, the working group of experts on people of African descent noted that Norway has set a policy and institutional framework against racism. However, people of African descent continue to face racial profiling, hate speech, racist bullying in schools. They have a barrier to access employment and forced removal of children by Child Welfare Service Barnevarna. I was avoiding this subject for a long while, as it's a heavy subject for me to talk about. Being a dark-skinned Norwegian with a Middle Eastern name, African, Semitic, I consider myself one of the most privileged. But since this report just came out, I think it's about time to address the elephant in the room. I consider racism painful, and I find it more painful when it happened to others in front of me than to myself. I've been traveling a lot, I've been exposed to racism, to xenophobia, and I'm kind of built an immunity towards that. But now we're looking at the report based on a fact-finding trip from a group of experts. We cannot just let this go and not talk about it. I've seen a lot of people in Norway working way under their league. For example, one of my recent jobs, I got a guy who's working as a picker, like in a warehouse. He got a master's in international relationships. I'm currently organizing an interview with this guy. Hopefully he's gonna come out to the light soon. But definitely, he would have got much better job in any other country other than Norway. In another job, I saw a guy who was a dentist working as a barback, filling up ice and cleaning the dirty glasses in the bar. A dentist working as such a job. In another country, such a guy would definitely get a different job, way better than that, at least in the medical sector. And of course, I cannot take such experiences and generalize it all over the country, but still, when we see such a report, many reports have actually suggested that your name will play a huge role in the jobs and job interviews and what kind of jobs you're gonna get called in. One of the tricks I normally do, I just change my name on a CV to guarantee myself a ticket to the hiring process. Barnevarn. With Barnevarn, there is a lot of reports. I hear a lot of disturbing stories. Of course, not 100% of it is true, but a wise man once said, there is no smoke without a fire. Those stories, unfortunately, not seeing their way to the light. But there is definitely a huge gap there when it comes to Barnevarn, how they take off kids from their families. And this is also was highlighted by this group of experts just visiting Norway. The fact that there is a difference in the treatment if the family of the kid were from a foreign descent or from a foreign roots compared to if they were actually Norwegian. I promise you I'll be digging more into that black hole of Barnevarn. A lot of people have noted a huge difference of the treatment that refugees from Ukraine have received from the moment they land foot into Norway, compared to other groups of refugees from Middle Eastern or African descent. And since it's a really sensitive subject, I made an episode talking about how Ukrainian refugees have special treatment compared to other groups of refugees. But I was very hesitant to post this out loud and talk about it because I was afraid from the backlash. But now I think it's actually more important to expose this, since we have the momentum, and to keep it for myself or be hesitant to post this out loud on my YouTube channel. There was also more studies suggesting that people tend to be stopped more often by the police if they were dark-skinned or African. And as more and more reports raising towards this subject, I cannot just let it go without highlighting it here in the channel. Of course, some of us will face less racism. Of course, others would be more sensitive to the subject. Some are more unlucky, but the fact that such thing happening in 2024 is definitely remarkable in such a country like Norway. So what do you think? Is Norway really a racist country? Is it a form of xenophobia and being afraid from the others or the strangers? Let me know in the comments section, and I would really love to hear you out if you have a story to tell. Also, please do not hesitate to check the link or the report down in the description sector. This was Norway's Buzz, where we preview the news in a really fast pace. That was Nordic Nonsense, where we'd like to preview the news with a little bit of a different angle. Ha det bra.